This is Trace Locos, and you're watching No Huntsville.
I've been around enough to know what I don't want, but you and I can make it go. Would you pop another can of courage and leave me out on the floor? We can toss our histories out the window.
All right. Let's get this going. All right, Joe, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, this is Tom.
I'm Joe.
This is No Huntsville. We have another music edition. We have two musicians in here, Daphne Lee Martin and Zach Smith, to talk to us about their tour they're on right now, the 2015 tour, and also to play some music. Guys, thanks for coming in and speaking with us today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's start right off about the tour and how you guys got together, and talk about the music you could play, and talk about how talk about a little bit about how you pair up with different people to go on tour. I think that's really interesting, and that's how I first met you last year here in Huntsville, and I think that's kind of an interesting part. So talk to us about that, Daphne.
Yeah, well, I do play with an entire band back home in Connecticut. And
right.
I love taking them out on tour, but unfortunately I'm not making quite enough money to cover their mortgage payments every month to get them out on the road with me. And so what I've been doing these last couple of years is pairing up with other songwriters like
right.
Zach, but also like Amy McCarley here in Huntsville.
Sure, yeah.
For strings of dates at a time. Sometimes I go out for a month, sometimes just a couple of dates.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a good friend here in town, Jana, who connected me with Amy, and I kind of fell in love with Huntsville the first time I came through that way, and I've been able to come through with a couple other songwriters now doing this solo thing.
Which is really cool. So it ties right into the show very well, right? So we're having some venues here in town. So you played the Tangle String last time.
I did.
That you were in town, and now you'll be playing Below the Radar tonight. At 9 o'clock with Zach. But it's kind of cool because Huntsville is kind of getting bigger, where we're having more venues, more options for artists to come in from out of town and actually play, which is kind of cool. And it's what this show's about. It's kind of showcasing some of those things that are going on. So it's pretty cool. So talk to me a little bit about your particular type of music. I know you kind of span the spectrum of the different background that you have, but talk to me about the music that you play right now.
Sure. I grew up on a lot of different kinds of music. I actually grew up doing a lot of old-time music, Appalachian folk, traditional,
right.
White gospel, and old-time music. And I was always a torch singer, always a ballad singer. My sister had this sort of more ruckus,
mm-hmm.
Attitude, and I always picked up the ballads and the love songs pretty easily. So I've definitely stayed with the ballads and love songs theme as I've become a writer in enough myself. But I just never wanted to get stuck in a box. I've been fascinated with so many different kinds of music for so long that I just wanted to try everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite songwriter in the world is Tom Waits, and he's done a very similar thing where you're never quite sure what you're going to get when he puts out a new album.
Right.
There's a lot of risks to be taken.
And you were doing a series of cover songs, and
right.
you covered Tom Waits, and I saw that on Facebook recently. It was really good. It was a really good version of it.
Elmore Magazine put out "I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You" cover,
which is a really
Your
good
voice
cover.
is way prettier than Tom Waits. I gotta say that.
Will you tell him that? So
You're easy to look at too, by the way.
Well, Tom Waits pretty hot, but yeah.
That's true. Yeah, so I've dabbled in a lot of Latin stuff. I've played in a Zydeco band before, Gypsy Jazz and Swing band before. I started writing for myself and doing a lot of cover songs in those genres. And when I did start writing for myself, I just wanted to get weird with it and try stuff out, I guess. And so far, people are responding pretty well, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you play really well, but you just have a beautiful voice, and it's really nice to listen to. I mean, if you see her live for sure, but also on when I've listened to the music online, you just have a really nice voice. It's kind of it's haunting a little bit. It's a little bit it's kind of sad, but it's appealing and it's compelling to a lot of people, I'm
My
sure.
mom calls it a lullaby voice.
Oh, right.
Definitely not a diva voice at all.
Right.
Lullabies, it works for.
All right, so Zach, let's go to the other side of the table here. Let's talk a little bit about your music and let's start with how did you hook up with Daphne and how did you get on this tour?
Well, her and I met probably about 6 months or so ago. Through a friend that we have, mutual friend we have named James Maple, who's a fellow musician.
Another touring artist that we've both been on the road with.
And just a background, you're from Connecticut, you're from Nashville,
Right.
so there's a little bit of a distance.
Right. But James is also from Connecticut, and I used to live in Pittsburgh. And so I met James when he came through Pittsburgh. Him and I did some tours together.
Okay.
And then that's how eventually I met Daphne. And I mean, this whole touring musician scene is such a small group of tight-knit people that, I have a friend of mine and I have this theory called future friends that I don't know them yet, but they're doing the same thing I'm doing. We're going to bump into each other soon enough.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Kind of like a future ex-wife kind of thing.
Yeah, could be, yeah.
Well, you were just talking about Nick Didmeyer, who was just here, and I was wondering, there's he was here in the studio. He's going to come back in April, but you were talking about how he just contacted you recently. I'm wondering if that's the same type of thing you're talking about.
I keep seeing the name everywhere, and it's one of those things. It's everywhere you turn around. Every venue you play,
right,
or every place you go, you hear about this person that you just bumped into somewhere. It's a small scene, and it's funny how it works like that.
Yeah, it's funny how things work. I mean, that's how Daphne and I met. We were over at Tangle String. You played, then you just happened to come off stage and sit next to me.
Oh, you were handsome.
And we had a drink, and then we started talking, and that's how you wound up over here, which is really cool. So
now you're red.
Good.
All right. So you guys have a whole bunch of more tour dates coming up here together. You only have.
We actually just have tonight and a show in Nashville together.
Right.
And then he's splitting off and going out with James Maple.
Okay, and then
I'm going north to the cold, and she's going south to the beautiful warmth of Texas.
Right.
And
you'll be doing some off South by Southwest sort of gigs going on there?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to go and see what's left of New Orleans after Mardi Gras first, and then I'm going down into Houston and Dallas for a couple shows, and off to South by to do the conference and meet with some people.
Nice.
The meetings you have with the people. Maybe something will happen.
Well, we can only hope. Well, speaking of that, so you can find Daphne's music on DaphneLeeMartin.com, also on Facebook /Dame Calico. And then you can also find Zach's information at ZachSchmidt.com, and then Facebook, Zach Schmidt.
ZachSchmidtMusic.com, and then Facebook /Zach Schmidt Music.
There you go. So please, everybody, go there, check their music out. You can buy their music there as well, also on iTunes and some other places. You can see links from those sites. Guys, thanks so much for coming in. Really excited to have you. I'm glad you came by, and I'm really looking forward to you playing some more here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And thanks for sharing this delicious.
And so, that's another thing I didn't mention. Salty Nut for providing the beer tonight. Thank you so much. They give us a lot of beer, so we'll be drinking it all night. And thanks to Salty Nut. And again, thanks to you guys.
Buy one of these.
You really have to save the drink for the end when I cheers everybody. Then you're supposed to drink with us.
Man, you ran way long on this interview, dude.
No, I didn't. We're only
Way long.
we're like 8 minutes or something. All right, so good.